Greetings, everyone. Thank you all for tuning in. I had a few technical difficulties here. I messed around and clicked the wrong button and didn't get and clicked it again, trying to get going and clicked it off. So I'm back. We're on TikTok today as well. Finally figured that I got that squared away. Y'all, as y'all can see, I'm back in my original spot because the lighting. Hold on, y'all. I'm getting it together. The lighting. I felt like the backdrop in my home suite was just too dark. I got to figure some stuff out. I'm was trying to switch it up a little bit, but nonetheless, we're back with episode number 32. If you're tuning in to Female Barber Talk with Yah-Tay, I am Yah-Tay Keaton, your host of Female Barber Talk with Yah-Tay. I'm also a Navy veteran, a certified life coach, a barber stylist, of course. Got on my gear still, work today. And I'm also an award-winning author of A Heritage of Hair. I've won 3 awards with this book, Lit Star Book Awards, book cover design, as well as first-time author and published with a purpose, social awareness. So if you're on YouTube, scan the QR code to take you right to the link on Amazon. If you're viewing on Instagram and are interested in getting my book, just click the link down in the bio. You'll see it there to take you directly there. Excuse me. If you're viewing on YouTube, not YouTube, I just said YouTube, right? If you're viewing on Facebook, if you're viewing via Facebook, just go up to the banner and there's a QR code in the banner. And for those of you who are viewing on TikTok, my link tree link is there, and there's also a link that'll take you directly to Amazon. If you have Amazon Prime, you can get it in 2 days. If you don't, then you'll have to wait the whatever the time frame is to get the book. If you're here in the Columbia, South Carolina area, I do have a few on hand. I can get you an autographed copy as well as provide you with the official seal for the book as well. If you have it and you want the seal, just reach out to me and I can mail it to you. That's no problem. So getting into tonight's topic, last week, and I don't have my notes here, but I can look right here and find them. So last week we did episode 31. We did episode 31, and the topic was before the Clippers, 5 things to know before starting barber school. So I just figured that I'll go into, what to expect the first month of barber school. So as the title is day 1 to day 30, what to expect in your first month of barber school. So when I started creating the outline and some of the things that I want to talk about for this, thank you, Valentine, David, Daisy, Beltazar, Gary, for tuning in on TikTok. I'm unable to see who's on Instagram, but thank you, Facebook family, as well as my YouTube family for joining. But as I was saying, as I was preparing to, do the outline for this and thinking about some of the things that I want to share, I went back through my handy dandy album on my personal phone, and I had a whole bunch of stuff. I'm gonna go to the album and show y'all. So I have an album where I kept a lot of videos, images, and things along that line when I was in barber school. Now, mind you, y'all, I'd gone to barber school this year's 5 years ago. Yeah, 5 years ago. So I got 568 items in there. Okay. And I said, wow, this would be very interesting to share with you all. Because I took some videos, some images, some quick clips of my time in barber school. I also got my first day. I'm gonna share that video. I got, I think it was like 2 weeks in, which I just realized that I had that video. I'm going to share that with you all. And I'm going to share some other stuff. If y'all on TikTok, you probably won't get to see it because I'm logged directly into the platform for TikTok. So if you want to view any of the images and things that I will be sharing throughout this podcast, hop on YouTube at Real Roots, that's Roots with the Z TV, or Facebook, okay, or Instagram. I'm broadcasting live from Instagram as well. Yeah, so I had a lot of pictures. Some of you may know, some of you may not know. I started in 2020, and of course, we know the pandemic hit. Everything was shut down. So I actually went through school during COVID. The majority of my schooling was out of school, basically. And I even found a video where I was studying from home. I did a quick video. I'm going to show that to y'all as well. I'm like, wow. So needless to say, I'm glad that I'm sharing this topic tonight, because it was little bit of reminiscing, a little bit of, oh, I ain't remember that I recorded that. But nonetheless, so once again, if y'all are tuning in, you're tuning in to episode 38, entitled Day 1 to Day 30, What to Expect in Your First Month of Barber School. Once again, I'm Yah-Tay Keaton, also known as Yah-Tay the Barber Stylist. In some of the videos, you're going to hear Miss Pro Natural. I am still pro natural, pro the African Americans, of anyone with textured hair wearing their natural hair. So it's a given. I used to say Miss Pro Natural then. So you'll hear that in the video. I'm just sharing that with you all. As I mentioned, I'm also award-winning author. I'm a trained paraprofessional who's worked with children now for 20 years, serving all children of all abilities, because I work with special needs children. So I say all abilities. And in this episode, like I mentioned before, we talked about, 5 things to know before you enroll. Today, we're going to talk about what happens when you walk through the doors. Now, give or take, I'm going to share my experience where I went to school. It's going to vary for some. And if you are just entering in barber in school, your experience may be a little different from mine. However, some of the things that I'm going to talk about tonight and share with you all, I believe will be very, very useful for those of you who are in barber school, whether it's through your high school program, because we talked about that, or your local academy, trade school, institute, barber institute, or wherever you are within your local community. So the first 30 days of barber school can be overwhelming. I was excited. I was nervous. I didn't know what to expect. I love learning. I think, which is why I love teaching so much, because, they say when you've learned something, if you can teach it, then you've I won't necessarily say mastered it, but you got the concept of it, or you could have mastered it. But in teaching, you get to see it from a different perspective, as well as glean from the students and the audience that you're sharing the information with. So, but it can be overwhelming. However, with the right perspective, you'll see that you'll set your foundation to your barbering journey if you have the right perspective as you enter through those doors and you begin your journey into barbering school or master hair care. Because if your program offers master hair care through the barbering side of things, then you may be doing master hair care. Some barber programs learn what master hair care learn as well, which is the coloring. Um, well, let me rephrase that. They may get the coloring. They'll definitely get the shear work. However, they may not get the relaxer and all of those other things as well. So with the master hair care program, that's some additional training that I got when I entered into my local barbering program, YPI. So what I want to do, but before I get started, well, let's go ahead and get into the first point, because I will show you the video of me getting prepared that morning, actually driving to the school and pulling up at the school. I had different clips. However, I put the clips together to make it kind of, you know, look like a little reel of sorts to get you there. Once again, if you're tuning in for the first time, I'm Yah-Tay Keaton, your host, the host of Female Barber Talk with Yah-Tay. If you are rejoining us, I want to say thank you. If you're catching this on the replay, thank you for taking time out of your day to replay this episode 30, entitled Day 1 to Day 30, What to Expect in Your First Month of Barber School. So I have 5 areas that I want to touch on. I have some examples. I have some images. I have some video clips. I have some of my own personal experiences that that I will be sharing throughout this episode. Some funny, some not so funny. You'll see my instructor guiding me on proper stance behind the barber chair, and I'll talk more in depth about that and some of the challenges that I've had with the barber chair, or the standard barber chair not going up high enough for me, which is why you'll see me kind of bending over, looking and trying to see, which is actually bad for your back. But I'll share that with you. So y'all just hold on. I believe that I have some great information, some great content to go along with it. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to share them. If you're catching this on the replay, go ahead and put your comments in the comment section, and also share if there's something else that you would like me to bring to the podcast or one of the episodes. We got Brandy Daniels coming up with us on first Sunday. This the Fade and Flow show on first Sundays. And next week, we got a special guest out of Philadelphia, Stacey Hands. She'll be on. So tune in for that. It's going to be an excellent podcast. She's bringing a lot of information. So stay tuned. So the first topic that I want to share and discuss is about orientation and first impressions. The first week looks what the first week looked like and why it mattered. And as I mentioned, I did a video of 2 weeks in, so I'm going to share a lot of personal stuff with you all as we go through this. So orientation. Sometimes you may have the orientation if you decide on a school and you've made the connection, you got all your finances and things in order. You may actually have your orientation before your start date. So you might go in, sit down with them, and I actually did that too. I sat down, I spoke with the owner, I spoke with some of the students, I got to view the school, and then I went back to my voc rehab counselor at the regional office locally here. And I spoke with him about the school, and that was the one that I wanted to go to. And I talked more in depth about why I actually chose that school, because it's a number of barber schools here in Columbia, South Carolina, and many of them do uh, bring in veterans into their school. But at the time, I selected this one based on what I needed in terms of my not only my profession, but I was working at the same time too. So I was able to talk with the owner and share my situation and ask some things and see if that would be okay. But like I said, we'll talk more about it. So, what the first week looks like and why it matters. So, the first thing that happens during the first week or the first month is you're meeting your instructors. You may have a one, two, three, or four of them. It just depends on how small or how large the school is. You're meeting your classmates and you're adjusting to the culture of the school. So what goes on in the morning? What's the routine? What do you do? Like take for instance, when we came into the school, we had to be there on time, of course. And after a certain time, guess what? The doors were locked at the front because we would walk through the I guess you call the floor back to the classroom. So the doors would be locked. If you didn't make it in by a certain time, you had to wait till we had class time to get on the floor. No, I take that back. Someone would actually come open the door, but the door would be open for the first part of the morning, and then once we went into the classroom and got settled in, the door was locked. And like I said, because there was a distance from the front of the building to the back of the building, and we were in the back. Anywho, you meet your instructors, you meet your classmates, you get you're adjusting to the culture, you're adjusting to what's going on, the schedule. How many hours are you in the classroom? How many hours are you on the floor? So for me, I'm going to share with you my first day of barber school. Hold on, here we go. TikTok folks, sorry if you're not if you're not watching on Instagram or YouTube, you won't get to see the video. You'll have to go back and take a look at it. But here's to my first day of preparing. And at that time, I want to set this up. At the time, I had been a natural hair advocate in the community. Um, I was, creating content, doing videos, and things along that line, and following my journey to becoming a barber stylist or a master hair care professional. So you'll hear me say Miss Pro Natural. But here we go. All right.
Having my breakfast and getting prepared for school. Guess what school I'm attending?
I didn't tell them at the time what school I was attending. So I kind of just took them along for the ride. So
Okay,
this me
I
actually
am
going to school.
on my way to my first day of school.
So like I said, I clipped it, and that's the front of the school. It's called Your Professional Image School of Barbering. Um, that was me preparing my first day, y'all. I was up early like a kid on the first day of school. So with that, let me remove this off. This is what one of our shirts looked like. It was embroidered with the school's initials on it, and of course the school's name. This particular shirt we wore on Saturdays because we got to wear that and blue jeans, and of course our smock. During the week we wore, let me pull it up because I have it here. During the week, we wore khaki pants and a red shirt, of course, and I will show that one. Hold up, I gotta pull it up, y'all. Give me a second. Let me go to it. Okay. This is so we had khaki pants. I ordered some Dickies offline, and you'll see that little a bow tie there. It went underneath our collar. It's similar to what we wore in the Navy. If you women um have been in the Navy, you remember our little tie that velcroed across the back of the neck. We had those. Women wore those, and of course our shoes had to be all black, and they could be tennis shoes or whatever, long as they were all black. We had those, and of course I had a tie, but I didn't care for the tie, so I went for the bow tie similar to what we had in the Navy. So let me remove that, and let me get this off to remove that, and take this down here as well. So yeah, we wore our khaki uniform uh Monday through no Tuesday through Friday, and on Saturdays we wore like a polo shirt, jeans, and of course our smocks that we had. So I also want to talk about some other things that we did during that first week or the first month. We reviewed the rules, of course. We talked about dress code and what the expectations were at the school. So, like I said, our dress code was we had to be in uniform. If we weren't in uniform, guess what? We just had to be in uniform. I'm gonna just say that. We talked about the rules of the school, what time to be there, when you can take break, how to clock in and out, what to expect, how to address each other, instructors. We talked about making up time. What does that look like? When can you come in? Um, who can you bring in, all of those different things, everything, as it relates to getting oriented to the school. And like I say, this part may be different for those of you who are in different states or in different programs. It may be a little different from high school if you're going through a vocational school or a technical institute within your community, but the foundation in general will be the same. You'll have rules, you'll have dress codes, and there will be expectations for you to follow in order to comply and be prepared every day for school. Let me see here. One other thing I want to talk about doing this, first impression stick. So how you show up the first day, first couple of days, you showing up on time, you being prepared, you looking professional, you're in uniform, you're ready to go. All of that matters. All of that matters, and it also lets your instructors know, oh, this kid shows up, they're prepared, they're ready to go. As a matter of fact, some days I was so excited, I was showing up to the school before the instructors even got there. I was sitting in the parking lot. So, anywho, um, doing that the first 30 days, of course, you'll get your kit. You'll get issued your kit. I'm going to show you mine. I think I've shown this before. You get issued your kit. And for us, because our shirts were embroidered, I didn't have my shirt or embroidered smock with the school's logo on it right away. So we had to be in a red shirt. I still wore my khakis. And of course, I had on black tennis shoes or black shoes, period. And for me, I had already had a smock embroidered. It said Yah-Tay and Miss Pro Natural on it. Actually, this is the same one you see in the picture, except for I had some African mud cloth added to it. And I went to the embroidery shop that I go to here locally uh, down in Eastover, and had it changed. So it looks a little different, but it's the same one. So those are the tools that I will issue. We went into the office, we got a checklist, and as I received the items that I was supposed to receive for my particular program, we checked it off. And I had to, show it, bump it up against the list and check it off, which is why you see those items there. So that's what happens in the first week or so, maybe within the first month in terms of your kit. You may get your kit right away. I got mine within the first week. Actually, I want to say like the second or third day, because everybody was getting their kits. And of course, we had to come in and, one at a time, and to ensure that we got everything that we needed. Because some were barbering, there for the barber program, and some were there for master hair care. So with master hair care, we get a few extra items like perm rods and the old school rollers that you put the pin in them. We got those. So as I'm preparing to show you this video, this one is of me 2 weeks in to barber school. Let me remove this from the studio. This video that I'm preparing to show you all is me 2 weeks in the barber school. And here it is. Here it is. So if you're just tuning in, we're talking about orientation and first impressions, what the first week looks like and why it matters. Some of the things that I've just shared was meeting instructors, classmates, and adjusting to the culture, reviewing rules, of course, expectations, and dress codes. Some schools have dress codes or uniforms that you wear. Some don't. Some, it may be that you just wear a smock with the school's logo and name on it. Other schools, you might even have to wear an actual uniform. I know some of the one of the high school programs do wear uniforms. So, and we did as well. And like I said, first impression stick, showing up on time, being prepared, and being professional. So let's go with this video here of me. I'm about 2 weeks in.
It's cold outside,
so here you go.
So I went old school, put Vaseline on my face.
All right, I'm gonna rewind it.
Greetings, Natural Hair family. It's Miss Pro Natural, and I'm just sitting here waiting. Y'all see my lips greasy. It's cold outside, so I went old school, put Vaseline on my face, especially around my lips, because your lips get chapped. But I got my water here, so we getting it in. Anyway, just wanted to let y'all know that I am 2 weeks into my barbering program. We're actually waiting for the instructors to get here this morning. And too bad I can't. Let me see if I can turn the camera around.
I was trying to learn how to work this camera, y'all. I couldn't find the thing to turn it around.
So I'm just sitting here thinking, meditating, and rubbing these lips because it's cold outside. Got my little Vaseline on them. You can tell it's a little shiny, huh? On top of my vitamin E. All right. I appreciate y'all following the journey. Stay tuned for some more snippets from school. And I'll keep you posted on this journey. And a journey it is.
All right, y'all. So this particular morning, I was there early, waiting for the instructors to get there. So with that, I started school in January. So that's why it was cold. We was in the middle of winter of 2020. So I went from January to about March, the middle of March-ish. And then COVID hit, everything was shut down. And then we were at home. So that was about 2 weeks in. You've also seen the video of my first day heading to school. And like I said, I was talking to my followers and telling them about joining school However, I didn't tell them what school it was. So when I got there that morning, I flipped the camera around, or you saw a still shot of me actually taking a picture of the school, or I had taken a picture of the school. So the second thing that I want to share, when we're in our first day 1 to day 30, or the first 30 days of school, we talk a lot about sanitation and safety. We do a lot of training on that, because that is part of the foundation. And actually, that's what the board looks for when you go to board to take your practicum and theory exam. Even though with theory, you'll be tested on it, but with practicum, you'll be observed to see how you are implementing those safety procedures, as well as sanitation habits. And I say that habits. So before the clippers, you'll master cleanliness. And it's imperative that you have some type of order, some type of cleanliness to your way of doing things. One, we're dealing with the health, safety, and welfare of the public. So we can be contributors to spreading diseases and things along those lines, if our implements and tools are not kept clean, they're not sanitized and disinfected properly, they're not cleaned properly. If they're not done properly, then we're gonna have some problems. Y'all gonna have some problems. I'm gonna say y'all, because I got a regular cleaning routine. As a matter of fact, I got my comb sitting in ship shape now, from having worked this weekend to get them clean before I put them in the barber shop. But nonetheless, the next thing after you get in orientation, first impressions, meeting instructors, and doing all of those things, within the first 30 days, you're gonna get some sanitation and safety training, because it's a must. So you're learning how to properly we had to clean the top of our station. There was certain protocols that we had to do. I don't know what that is. Go live studio. Okay, something is going on over here on TikTok. But I thank you all for joining. Those of you who are on TikTok, I appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in. I had a little bell over there ringing for it, but nonetheless, sanitation and safety training, you're going to get that in the first 30 days, because it's imperative, it's a must, it's a priority, it's a standard that you should uphold at all times in school, and when you actually get out into the field and you're working in either your own space, the barbershop, salon, wherever you choose to work. It is something that you must practice. I ain't gonna say should, I'm gonna say you must practice. So learning the proper disinfections and setting up. So we each got to set up our station how we saw fit, in terms of placement of items, where we want to place them, accessibility, what we use the most, what we didn't use the most, what we use the least. So we have items like that. What I will show you here in a second is a blood exposure video that I did while we were at home. So we were tasked that we had to videotape ourselves going through the blood exposure procedure, and we had to turn it in, because that was part of us, going to school during COVID. We were still required to test. We were still required to do certain things. And our instructors had us do it and videotape it, so that they could see that we was doing it right. So I'll share that with you. And I also talk about some other habits that I had as well. So learning to properly disinfect and set up. So here I share an image of one of the pages in my book. And I got my book right here, y'all. I still have it. Y'all see all my tabs. here. I wish I knew that page right away, but I don't know that page, or is it in the workbook? Hold on, it might be. It might be in the workbook because I had the barber, the student handbook as well. But hold on, let me see if I can find it real quick. Uh, Anywho, this particular page here talked about preparation, uh, sanitation, and how to prepare. No, I didn't tag it right, y'all. So I'm sorry, but that's one of the images that talked about standard procedures and also standard procedures and practices and as a barber or master hair care. So I have here that I'm going to share with you all a actual video, like I said, of me doing blood exposure. It actually ran about 2 minutes, but I did a small clip because I didn't want to bore y'all with the whole video. So I'm going to share that with you all of what I had, one assignment that I had to do.
Blood
Here we
exposure
go.
procedure. I have actually sustained a minor cut on my index finger.
I used a
However,
marker to rub on
I
my
can still
finger.
provide service to my client, and my work area has not been contaminated. So, what I need to do is cover the affected hand with the glove. So, I have my first aid kit here, and I'm going to open it without touching the bag. Get my gloves out,
Mhm.
open that bag, take them out of the bag. I'm going to toss this bag, put the glove on the affected hand,
So as I was saying, this was a task that we had to complete. We had to videotape it and send it, email it to our instructors so they'll know that we did the task. Um, uh, I got here something popped up on my screen. I don't know why I did this. Hold on, y'all. Uh, Not at this time. There we go. So, as I was saying, this was one of our tasks that we had to do. So, I had to videotape it, and that's what I did. And I only showed you a small portion of it. So, we did the blood exposure. We talked about state board rules on safety and sanitation as well, because there are state mandated rules and regulations that we have to follow in addition to what our book uh, teaches us on sanitation and disinfection as well. So we did that in the first month, and we also talked about developing habits that will protect our reputation, protect our clients. We talked a lot about uh, just cleanliness and how important it is, especially with cleaning your clippers, your guards. If you drop a comb, those things that you know. Some people get out in the field and they use the same comb on every client. You'll see them spray the comb down with the clipper side spray and wipe it off and then go into using that same comb on the next client. Me, I invest in them. I have a whole bunch of them. I use a different comb. If I drop it, depending on what I'm doing, I may pick it up right away, or I may wait a little bit till I get to a point where I can pick it up, and then move forward and do what I need to do from there. So I want to share with this in terms of developing habits. I want to share a clip with you all where I was studying doing COVID at home. And when I was going through my images, I found this clip and I didn't realize that I did this, but I'm going to share this with you all.
I am still doing work from home in terms of my schoolwork because we're out due to the COVID-19. But nonetheless, I have, look, shampooed and conditioned my own hair, put it in some big twists. And in the meantime, check this out. I'm listening to the radio. Let's turn it around. On Pandora. And I am studying. Get my study on.
So
that's what I'm doing during the pandemic. Is still continuing to put in the work, though it has been challenging, but nonetheless, I'm putting in the work and getting a little master hair care for myself too.
all right. So during the pandemic, y'all, I kept a rigorous study schedule for school. So during the time that I was in school, I used that time to study. So whereas I talked about my schedule, well, let me rewind a little bit. The reason why I chose the school that I went to, one, they accepted veterans, and I got voc rehab to go through the program. Two, I sat with the owner and his staff and I talked to them about my schedule. Because at the time, I worked on base at Fort Jackson and I did after school care. And then during the summer, we did full service for our military families and civilian workers. So I was the computer lab technician there for the students. At the time that I was in barber school, I was at Embolden School Age Center. So I worked with pre-K on up to 5th grade. I've also worked at the teen center and another center there as well, but it was similar to Embolden School Age Center. Anywho, I let them know that we run the after school program, and my hours were 2 to 6. So I would go into school. I really did AM and PM. So I did the full-time program and the part-time program to ensure that I got my hours. And I would accumulate the right hours. And because that school was okay with it, it worked for me to be able to go to school. So I would go to school in the morning, cut out about 1:15-ish because I had to be there at 2. That way I can get through lunch traffic and get on base, because you got to go through the gate and do all of that stuff and get in, clock in, and set, make sure my classroom was set up to receive the kids when they came in after school. So I would leave around that time, and then I get off from work and come back, and I would be to school by 6:30. And then I would go to school from the time they opened. So the night class went from about 5:30 to 9 or 9:30 at night. So I would leave the base and go straight to school. And y'all, I would be changing in the car. So I would keep my khaki pants on, and I would, if I was trying to do something at school and I didn't leave at the exact time that I needed to leave, I would get in the car, take off my red shirt and put on my green shirt, because we wore green on base. So I would put that shirt on and be going to base. And yes, I had an undershirt on, but I would be putting that on when I got in the truck and head on to school. So I did that up until COVID, and we were out. And then when we got back in, I did the same thing again until I completed school. So that's how dedicated I was. That's how I showed up on time. I left right up to time, and I was always prepared, and I maintained my professionalism. But that was one of the reasons why I selected YPI. And then the classes were small. The student the instructor ratio was great. So I really love the school. So I'm going to share some other things here with you all as it relates to me in the school. So here's an image of me when I got my student license. So they send out the application, send the picture, your passport picture in, and then in a few weeks, once it's processed, you get your student license that goes up in the school. So that was my student license that I got, and I was all smiling and and showing all my teeth because that was my first set of license for school. And here let me show you this one. This was my actual station before I got set up. That was my station, and I'll show you how I eventually set it up. But that's how that was my station. So let's get into two because I don't want to prolong y'all a very long time. So number one was orientation and first impression. Number two was sanitation and safety training. And in sanitation and safety training, we're learning about proper disinfection and setup. I talked to you about some of the things that we had to do in the morning before actually receiving a client. We had to make sure the towels were already put in the towel warmer for the day. We had to ensure that the trash bags were in, especially if the night crew didn't empty it and put the trash bag back in like they were supposed to. We talked about state board rules on safety and sanitation. We talked about that right away, and what's to be expected, how we're to carry it out, and then developing habits that protect your reputation and protect the health, safety, and welfare of the client. So I shared that with you all. We also, I want to share this because this is important too. We talked about steps for being successful. I started my studying for each chapter and subsequently for state board when I got in. So like I said, this is my workbook. I made sure that all of my work was done. Y'all can still see it to this day. I wrote in pencil because if I needed to erase something, I could. Um, my workbook matched my textbook in terms of my tabs, sorted out. I still have stuff in there because I still use my book. I reference it. I look at stuff. And as a matter of fact, you can see here I turned the waterless sanitation, hand sanitizer. I also started studying my exam book as well. So I had all three of the books. And you can see here where I highlighted the answer. I put the page number where I found the answer. And then when I got to the page, I put the page, the test question. As you can see, I put the test question and the answer in the book. So I cross-referenced it. I also created a study guide manual. I did this when I got with my mentor who helped me. And I have a series of videos on YouTube. They're under SC Barber Stylist for State Board in South Carolina. I, for the life of me, could not find any State Board prep information when I was preparing to take State Board. So when I finally completed both the theory and practicum, I stayed up and made 10 videos and put them up because I didn't want anybody to go through what I went through as it relates to not being able to find material on the web or the internet, YouTube per se, that dealt with state board here in South Carolina for master hair care, or i.e. barber stylist. So there are 10 videos up, um, each of them dealing with a section of state board, and I labeled them as such. So if you're interested in viewing those, I'll put those in. I'll put the link in the comment, and share that with you. But I prepared for that. So on to the next one, tools, familiarity, and basic techniques. So getting to know your kit and essentials. I showed you all what my kit looked like. I'm gonna put it back up here again. Let me grab that once more. Okay, my kit. All right, TikTok fam, thank y'all for joining. Here is my barber case initially. I'll show y'all that real quick. That was my barber case that I used with some of my tools in it. And I had a backpack to carry with my books. When I carried my books home. Here are some of the tools. So we got familiar with our tools. We talked about the different clippers that we had, because we had the Andes with the fade blade on it, and also the regular Andes Master. We got 2 trimmers. We got the Andes shaver, shears. We got a lot of stuff. For me, I got a lot of stuff. So we went through that. We talked about the clippers. We talked about the guards. We talked about the combs. We talked about the shears and identifying what tool to use at what time frame. Like the fade blade on the Andes, that cuts closer. I'm gonna tell y'all, I gotta tell y'all this. I was so scared to use that blade, those clippers. I would sit them way to the left of me on my station. I'm gonna pull in that video. Hold on. I'm talking about setting it up, but I'll show you how I had them set up way off to the side because I sure didn't want to. Okay, so here's a video of me showing my trimmers.
But the key
So I
is
would have
to
my Andes clippers
have
off
it
to the fade blade off to
where
the
it's
left.
comfortable.
I wouldn't even
And I'll
touch them,
move
y'all.
these out the way.
I was scared of them. But that's a picture of my station, of a small video clip of my station. I had the caddy that I used turned backwards because I wanted the cords to go back in the hole that you see there. So I hate a lot of cords and a lot of stuff. So I didn't want them in the way. So that's why I turned it backwards so that the cords could run towards the mirror. But anywho, we talked about, sectioning, taper basics, handling your tools properly. Let me show you what we had to do while we were home. And this is something that I did. So here, in the book, the barber book, it shows you the proper way to hold, it shows you various ways to hold the clippers. So I practiced that. I took pictures of it to show that that's what, show that I was doing that. Let's see here. Y'all, when I was going through this, I had so much stuff. And also with learning how to hold your tools properly, you're building muscle memory, especially when you begin to get in and get on the floor and get the cutting. You'll start building muscle memory through repetition. So holding your tools properly, you know how to utilize them, how to clean and disinfect them. Those are some things that we learn. I also want to share with you all my first time on the floor. One of our fellows one of my fellow classmates, Stacy, was helping me with fading, y'all. I was so scared. I got a video of that. Let me pull that up for you so you can see it. I also did some braiding in school. I'll show you that. I gotta find the, okay. So here's the video of Stacy helping me. So he's showing me how to hold and position those clippers. And Stacy had been cutting for years, so I would watch him a lot.
Grab them back.
Like this.
Yeah. Whatever you comfortable with. Because see what I do, I grab mine like
They
that.
feel heavy, so.
So I got that like that.
Oh, okay.
Put the finger in between them. There you go.
So what I learned,
Yeah.
he was helping me to implement that with holding the clippers. And I'm left-handed, so I'm watching him. He's right-handed, so I'm trying to cross it up in my brain to get it right.
Okay.
Feel like I have a pencil. Thank you.
So I was telling him I felt like I had better control over the clippers.
So what we want to do, we want to work it to you. So you want to turn that chair. Now you want to
Come back this way.
yeah.
Y'all can tell I'm scared, right? I ain't scared now. All right, so that's one video of Stacy supporting me with the clippers. And then I want to share something else with you. Remember I was telling you about the chair? Oftentimes, there are a lot of standard chairs in the barbershop and or salon. I'm 5'10", so I need a chair that pumps up higher than standard height. So doing this particular video, my instructor was talking to me about saving my back. So in becoming familiar with your tools and basic techniques, he was sharing with me the proper way to save your back. And this is a real live incident where he corrected me while we were videotaping to show you. Here, this is Mr. T correcting me in my stance. So hold on, y'all. Let me get to the videos. Saving my back. All right, here we go.
Okay, I want your back to last a long time. Pump that chair up. And sometimes you might have to get your client set up. I know in her situation you might get set up. But get
And
your
see,
chair
it
up high as
doesn't
you
go
can,
up
so you
as
don't have to bend
high
your back
for
as
me,
you
but
got.
I didn't have it up
That's
anyway.
good. That's good. That's better. Now you got less bend in there. There you go. There you go.
But now I've invested in a chair that actually pumps up. The highest it pumps up is 29.5 inches. The standard chair pumps up to about 23 inches. That's the seat at the maximum height. Mine goes up to 29 inches. So it actually pumps up an additional 6 inches above the standard, which is great for me. So it's like my client is up here, whether I have them leaning back or sitting up. If it's a child, yeah, I can maneuver the chair like I need it to be so that I'm not in that position. But I catch it, y'all, from being in shops or salons that only have a standard height chair. So getting to know your kit and essentials is very important. So these are just some of the things that I experienced. As you saw, Stacy was helping me learning to hold my clippers properly. Mr. T was, getting on me about pumping that chair up and, making sure I save my back with that. So the next one is classroom versus hands-on learning. Now with this, some schools require that you have a certain amount of hours before you can get on the floor. Some schools you get right into it. You do a little bit of theory, studying in the classroom, and then you go into the lab. So you may go onto the floor right away, in the beginning, or maybe within the first month or 2 months, you may start to go onto the floor. Like I say, our school, I had to have 280 hours, between 250 and 280, before I could actually get on the floor to cut. However, because I had my braider's license, I was assisting on the floor with one of the instructors with braiding. And I think I got a video of me braiding in school as well. So let me share that with you too. So yeah, braiding in school. So I did that. So with classroom and hands-on learning, we got to balance theory and the practice in our first month. So depending on your school, you may have a combination of both, or you may have to wait a certain number of hours before you can get on the floor. So we're sitting through anatomy, hair structure, state laws, all of that in the book. And then you might even start on your mannequins first before you actually get to a human. So switching to mannequins to work, and then taking on the floor for the technical practice of things. And I also have a video here of me working on one of my mannequins. So this is me doing 0-degree cutting.
I'm not doing that. I gotta put it on the sales fabric.
Yeah. So we did a combination mannequin and working on the humans, but we started out with mannequins.
Zero.
You gotta make it 0. You hear them in the background, 0, 0. So that was me working on the mannequin. Now I want to share with you all, this video is a little bit longer, but I think it'll share how dedicated I was to not only going to school, but getting, getting extra hours. But before I share that, I want to share this one here of me going to work.
Greetings, Natural Hair Fam. It's Miss Pro Natural, and it is a Sunday morning. Our instructor is actually opening up the building today, so I am headed in to get some extra hours in, get some training, work on my mannequin, and also do some book work. So I have I was in on yesterday. So we had a long day yesterday, but when I got the message in home base today, I said, you know what, let me get up and get on in, because I never know when I may need these extra hours, because my schedule is that I come in during the day and then I cut out in the middle of the day to go to work, and then I come back at the end of the day for evening class. So I actually come to both morning and evening class. So I'm doing like a full-time, evening time and morning time for us. So just want y'all to see. Let me see if I can turn it around here. Can I turn it around? Guess not. But I'm here, and I'm gonna take and turn the camera around so you can see that I'm here. Hold on, guys. So I'm here at school. I'm getting ready to head in. Thank you all for following the journey. of Miss Pro Natural, emerging as a natural hair stylist and now master hair care professional. So for those of you who don't know, I'm actually in barbering school. Well, the master hair care course is through the barbering program here at Your Professional Image. I'm official now. I got my jacket with my name printed on it. So I'm going to head in and I'll do a little bit more videotaping to share with you all this journey. All right. Thank you. Appreciate you. Remember to embrace your natural hair and celebrate your real roots with Real Roots Love and Real Roots Pride.
All right. So that particular Sunday, I was actually going in to get some extra hours, and it worked out for me. Like I say, you just never know. So if you have an opportunity to go in, or school is open up, take advantage of that, because you never know. You might get sick, your kid might get sick, something may come up, and you got to leave school early, or you can't make it to school, and you'll need those hours. And remember, I told you in episode number 31 that your hours are tied to you completing school and being able to take state board. If you don't have your hours to complete school, you definitely will not have your hours to take state board. So if the opportunity presents itself, or you're able to, get in some extra time, do it. Do it. And y'all are seeing real-time stuff from where I was recording and vlogging my journey as I was going through the process. Some of this, like I said, I didn't even remember that I had it. But nonetheless, it's is there, and we have to learn how to balance the two, the theory and practicum, in our first month, because we're going to be doing both of it. So as I mentioned here, classroom versus on-hand training, I've shared some stuff with you all. I'm going to share some more images of me in the classroom. Here is one where we're going over the guards and learning about the clippers and how to fade. So our instructor used to throw out a level of the fade and ask us where would we be, what position of the clipper, where would we be if we were at a certain position on the head, what level, where would the lever be on the clipper. So he would do stuff like that. And I'm telling you, y'all, here's an image of me sitting there like, I don't know what Mr. T talk about. Hold on, let me find it. And one of my classmates caught this. And I got the board in hand, and we had to write it down. And I'm like, I don't know what Mr. T talking about. But you see, I sat up front. I always sat up front because I didn't want nobody to be blocking my view or be distracting me or trying to be, in my way while I'm trying to get my lesson on. So I always sat up front, and I would purposely get to school so that I could sit up front, because we ain't have no assigned seat. You got there first, you sat in that seat. But in all honesty, we kind of knew who sat where, and we respected that. So yeah. But anywho, let me pull in this other one. Here's another picture of us in class. I was actually preparing to do a presentation. So this is all of us sitting in class, and y'all, as you can see, I was sitting up front, and that was my buddy, Miss Lachey. We got it. We didn't get in trouble. Well, we did a lot of laughing. I'll just say that. We did a lot of laughing, but we had a lot of fun. What else do I want to show you? This is me standing in front of my barber station. That's the uniform. That's how the little necktie looked underneath. So during the week, we wore this uniform. And on the weekends, let me see if I have image of that where I'm in jeans. I think I do have one. I think this is one. Yeah, you can probably see that I have on the polo shirt here, and I'm putting a stringent on the client after cutting him. And this is another uniform that we wore, and we got those. That was part of our kit in school, except for we had to buy our own khaki pants. We got the shirts, but we had to buy our own khaki pants and shoes, of course, shoes. So that was number 4. Number 5 is building habits that last. The routines you form in month 1 shape your career. So your study habits, you showing up, all of those things help to shape your habits. The routines, like I said, the routines you form in the first month shape your habits and your career. So we did daily cleaning, setting up, tearing down routines, not so much tearing down, but emptying the trash. Night crew had to do certain things. Day crew had to do certain things. Like, for example, the night school students had to ensure that all the trash was out. They were supposed to put it in the trash bags. Sometimes they didn't. The AM students, we had to check the laundry. Oh, and they put the laundry in. So whoever came in the morning, we took the laundry out, put it in the dryer, got it folded up, and stored back in the place where it was supposed to be. So in the mornings, we, got the towels ready. We made sure that our barbicide jars were clean, our stations and mirrors were clean, our tools were out, we were ready. In the classroom, we had to be prepared to write do our mantra. I don't even think I have a copy of it here. Hold on, y'all. Let me see if I got a copy of it, because I'll read it to you. If I thought I had one, hold on, y'all. I might. I could have. Hold on. I do want to share it. I think it's a very important one. If not, I'm gonna step away and get it because I have it right up here. And for those of you who are students in school, this is something that we had to say every day. And one student would take a line. We also had to commit it to memory. But as y'all can see, I don't remember it. And it's called The Choice Is Yours. Hold on, let me go grab it real quick. I framed it. So let me share it with y'all. I framed it. So if you're a student on, or you're someone who's considering barber school, this is one thing that I admired about the school that I attended. We all, we were open, say a prayer, for those who did, those who didn't, they used it as a moment of silence. We would say the choice it's entitled The Choice Is Mine. It's by Alexandra Starr, Starr. And we each would take a line. We would go around and take a line, and then at the end of it, we would recite it together. So it reads, the choice is mine. I choose to live by choice, not chance. I choose to make changes, not excuses. I choose to be motivated, not manipulated. I choose to be useful, not used. I choose self-esteem, not self-pity. I choose to excel, not compete. I choose to listen to the inner voice, not the random opinions of the crowds. The choice is mine, and I choose to surrender to the will of the divine mind. For in surrendering, I am victorious. We had to say this every day and remember our line, remember the line that was coming next. And if we messed up, we had to start all over. So at one point, I did remember this, but I have it framed here, and I have one in my room in my home studio as well, so that it's seen. So we would go through this, and as it reads, the choice is yours. You can choose to live by choice or by chance. You can choose to make changes or excuses. You can choose to be motivated or manipulated. You can choose to be useful or used, or not used in our case. You can choose self-esteem or self-pity. You can choose to excel or compete. You can choose to listen to the inner voice, or you can choose to listen to the opinions of others. But when you choose and you surrender to the will of the divine mind, and then you are becoming, it says, I am victorious. For in surrendering, you are victorious. So that's an habit that we had on a daily basis at school, of reading The Choice is Ours, or The Choice is Mine. So as I said, for number 4, classroom and hands-on, and then number 5 is building habits that last. The routines you form in the first month shape your career. It shapes your barbering journey. So as I mentioned before, daily cleaning setups and tearing down, or you know, closing out your station. I'll just say closing out your station in preparation to go home and, come in the next day. Consistently showing professionalism, even with the mannequins. We couldn't be slapping on the mannequin head. We couldn't be beating up the mannequin or holding it by the hair, carrying it around school. We had to treat the mannequin with dignity and respect. Seriously, y'all. So I want to show y'all this one too. I got quite a few videos, and I know I'm being a little long-winded. Like I shared with y'all, it was a lot of stuff. This is one my instructor caught on video. So I want to share this
Okay.
with y'all.
Now,
That's my station.
Yah-Tay, this is
No, actually, that's not my station.
she cleaning, but y'all, she been
Y'all
cutting
see
hair
that?
today. She did a haircut today. She did a couple haircuts today. Bald heads, yes she did. Say laughing at you. Finger waves. She's a finger wave girl. So I encourage.
So that's our uniform. And
Broke her
you
clippers in
saw
today.
cleaning. We had to clean all the
So
time.
I want
My tools are
Papial to come
closed
on in
up.
tomorrow,
I'm taking my stuff to my
and
locker.
let's show some more love.
And here is what my locker looked like, because we did have lockers at school. And then I show y'all how I packed all that stuff on the inside of it too. I think I pulled a picture of the inside of my locker too. Here's the inside of the locker. So that's how I packed my locker with all my stuff in it. We had a little shelf, and I made sure my books could fit in there, and all my tools, my barber case, and all, y'all. I did it. I did it. So showing up, developing time management between school, work, and personal life, studying. I showed y'all the video of me putting time together to study. So in the end, you're able to achieve this certificate here. And this is me at the end. I think I end up getting 1,500 35 hours or 39 hours or, oh, hold up. I got my certificate right here. Hold on. Here we go. There you go right there, y'all. There you go. There you go. I accumulated 1,539.65 hours at barbering school. And I finished December 10, 2020, in the year of COVID. Let me stop. In the year of COVID, I finished. So for the first 30 days of barber school, it's not about fading. Um, it's about, building your foundation that will carry you through your career, for the rest of your career. And how you show up will determine how you're prepared later in your career, later down the line. So as I said, in the beginning, the first 30 days, you're going through orientation, first impressions, what the first week looked like and why it matters. I kind of talked about that. I shared with y'all 2 weeks in of, what I was doing at 2 weeks in, how I showed up the first day, um, meeting the instructors and classmates and just adjusting to the school's culture as well as barbering culture in general. The rules, dressing, dress codes, expectations, like I said, showing up on time, being prepared, professional, and then safety and sanitation training. That comes in within the first, month or so, because it's very, very important for us to maintain standards, because we're dealing with the health, safety, and welfare of the public. Also, it's preparing you for state board ultimately, because you got to show that you know how to practice proper sanitation, proper disinfection, for all of that. You gotta show that. So for us, before we can get started on the floor, there were certain tasks and certain things that we had to do before going on the floor. So before clippers, you'll have to master cleanliness. Before you get them clippers, you're gonna have to master that part of it. So learning to properly disinfect and set up state board rules on safety and sanitation, and developing habits that protect not only your reputation, but the health and safety of the public. Number 3 was tool familiarity and basic techniques. I showed y'all some of the things that I was doing wrong and how my instructor corrected me. I also showed you a video of me actually utilizing my clippers, and working with them, and how one of the senior students in the class assisted me with that. In that, we talked about identifying and practicing with your clippers, the guards, the combs, and the shears. I showed y'all a videotape of me practicing my 0 degree on my mannequin, sectioning. I showed y'all basic taper, how we were in class. We had to mark the step on the board, the little dry erase board that we had, and then show it. That was a mess, y'all, because a lot of times I was just plain old confused. So here's the deal. Whether you've had clipper training or haven't had clipper training, especially those of you who've never picked up clippers, never handled clippers, if I can do it, you can do it. And I struggled with it in the beginning, but I showed up, I got the training. Even when I got out, I did a lot of volunteering so that I could get the reps in, and did those things to help me. And it also helped to build your muscle memory in terms of flicking your wrists, holding the clippers, and all of those things. I also talked about the use of the chair. I've actually invested in one where it pumps up to my height. So if you're a tall person, be sure you got a chair that pumps up higher than the standard height, okay? So you can save your back, all right? With that, number 4, we talked about classroom and hands-on learning, balancing theory and practice in your first month. As I mentioned, some schools you have to have a certain amount of hours before you can get on the floor. Some other schools, you're on the floor, shortly after you get the fundamentals of sanitation and cleanliness and all of that stuff down. And of course, once you've gotten your kit, you may do a few things on the floor, a shadow, a senior group of individuals, or shadow your instructor while they provide service to someone who's coming to the school for service, and you're gathered around and watching, which brings me to, I wanted y'all to see this one other video of me practicing my the shaving. Did I put that in here? I do have one of me shampooing. I want to show y'all that. That was I think that was my first or second shampoo in school. Y'all see how nervous I was about that? Let me see if I can find the one video of me. I was actually doing a shave. My instructor was taking me through the counts of shaving.
Hey,
Let me make sure.
Hey, thank you. One leaving, y'all.
Have a good weekend.
Okay, and did y'all hear my instructor say, one leaving? When that doorbell rung for people to come in, we had to say, welcome to YPI. I don't care if it wasn't your client or not. Everybody had to say, welcome to YPI. And when someone was leaving, after they paid at the front station, he would say, one leaving, like he just did. And we would say, have a great day, have a great afternoon, have a great weekend. Whatever it was, we had to address them as they were leaving the premise. I don't see it, y'all. But I do have a video of me cutting.
Here, cutting Mr. Taylor. She's doing
Yeah,
a great job.
I don't know what I did with that one, but anywho, these are just some items that I found as I was preparing for this episode to share with everyone. And I just thought it would be befitting to share those clips, these images, to let you know I was there too. So once again, the 5 things that I've shared of what to expect your first month in barber school. Number 1 is orientation and first impressions, what the first week looks like and why it matters. We talked about meeting instructors, classroom, classmates, adjusting to the barbering culture as well as the school culture, reviewing rules, dress codes, and what to expect, showing up on time, being prepared, as well as being professional. The second thing that I discussed was sanitation and safety training. You're going to get this prior to going on the floor because it's a must. We're dealing with the health, safety, and the welfare of the public. You need to know those things. We also talked about learning proper disinfection and sanitation, and also setting up your station and keeping it clean and so on and so forth. I also discussed state board rules on safety and sanitation. That's important. I shared with y'all the blood exposure procedure that we had to videotape of ourselves and send it in because we was there doing COVID. So that was our way of showing that we actually did our assignments that were given to us to perform. Developing habits that protect your reputation, developing habits that help you to be on course in terms of studying and prepping for state board, but also being able to prepare for your tests and your quizzes in school as well. So I shared some things with that. Number 3 was tool familiarity and basic techniques. I shared with you all my kit. Um, Getting to know your tools and the essentials of what's in your kit is very, very important. Not only do you know what they are, you know how to use them and you know when to use them, which is very, very important. Identifying and practicing with your clippers, your guards, your combs, your shears, um, uh, tips and taper basics, handling your tools properly. Y'all saw me with learning how to handle the clippers or hold the clippers. And also it helps with building your muscle memory. And that actually comes through repetition. So the more you do, the more you have that muscle memory for doing it. So sometimes our instructor would have us walking around with the clippers doing this, so we get that movement down, flicking of the wrist, that C motion, that scooping, but only this way, scooping that way. And then we talked about number 4, classroom versus hands-on, balancing theory and practicum in your first month. As I mentioned previously, some schools, within the month, once you've gotten the first 1 or 2 chapters down with the history and the fundamentals and sanitation, of course, you go on to the floor. Whereas other schools, like my school, we had to have a certain amount of hours, and I want to say it was between 250 and 280. We had to have a certain amount of hours. That's if you're in school. Now, if you're on OJT, you're already out there, getting hands on while you're learning with OJT. And we do offer that, or it is offered in the state of South Carolina. So balancing theory and practice in your first month, that takes place. So learning patience, theory prepares you for the chair. It prepares you to get onto the floor in school, and ultimately out into the field once you've taken and passed state board exam. And then the last one, number 5, is building habits that last. The routines you form in month 1 or in the first month is going to shape not only your foundation in school, but it'll ultimately have an impact on your career. So you want to look at your routines and your habits and setting up good routines and habits for daily cleaning and setting up and tearing down, not so good routines. You want to make sure that you're doing things that promote sanitation and safety, that matches your reputation and your presentation as far as your clients. What do they see when they come to your station? How is your station arranged or organized? Do you work in hair? I know some people out there that do. Do you wipe down your seat? Like for me, I Lysol my seat. I spray it. And some places don't like you to use a lot of capes. Well, I for sure make sure I use my neck strip and I spray my capes down with Lysol. And I will not, to this day, let a client sit in my chair if there's hair on the chair, in the chair, around the chair. So it has to be prepped as if they're the first client sitting in my chair for the day. So that's how I operate. Consistently showing up, showing professionalism, even with your mannequins. I told y'all we couldn't walk around holding the mannequin by the hair. We couldn't do none of that. We had to treat the mannequin with respect. We really did, y'all. And developing time management between schoolwork and personal life. I shared with you all a few videos of me making a transition from work to school, you know, talking about me getting in the extra hours. Y'all saw that video of me, you know, getting the word in home base that we're going to be open Sunday. Well, I had went to school the whole week, did my 5 days, but guess what? I never knew if I would need them hours. So I got up, went to school on Sunday to get them extra hours. And as you can see with my certificate here, I end up, we only need 1,200 hours, but I got 1,239 hours, 0.65. That's what I got. So that's it. And like I say, the first 30 days of barber school is not about fading and, you know, a perfect phase. But it's about building the foundation that will carry you through the rest of your career, getting you through school. And how you show up will determine how you prepare later. You're setting that foundation. So look at what you're setting up. Build healthy habits, build strategies and habits that are going to increase your success in the field. All right. Increase your success in the class as well. Because we got to get through school before we can get into the field. So I just want to say, if you found that this episode has been helpful, don't forget to subscribe to Female Barber Talk with Yah-Tay. Follow me at Yah-Tay, Yahtaye, the Barber Stylist, on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, what the other one is, Threads. You can follow me at Yah-Tay, the Barber Stylist, on those platforms. And let me grab this. Don't forget to grab a copy of my award-winning book, 3 times, 3 awards. My award-winning book, A Heritage of Hair, Living the Legacy of My Heritage. It is available on Amazon. If you have Amazon Prime, you can get it in 2 days. If you don't have Amazon Prime, it'll take you a couple days to get it. If you're here in the area, Columbia, South Carolina, I do have some on hand. If you have your copy, you want me to sign it, reach out to me and I'll get it signed. If you would like your official seal for the book, I do have them. Reach out to me and I will get you one. So you'll have official seal for your book. Until next time, stay sharp, stay focused, and honor your craft. Thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like button, share, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you all. Thank you so very much. And for my first-time students, it is my hope that this information is useful. If there's something that you would like to share, put it in the comments, and I will link the 10 videos that I did to prepare the next generation of future barbers here in the state of South Carolina to prepare for the state board exam and what to expect. So I broke down the different sections for master hair care. We have 9, but 5 of those, the first 5, barbers can use them because you go through the same exact first 5 steps. And I have my book right here. Let me read that to you real quick. See, I still had, when I passed, y'all, I still have my sheet for when I passed both the practicum and the theory here, and the letter that I got saying that I was eligible to take the exam. So I kept up with everything. This was my temporary work permit that I got. I had that. I still kept that. Let me get the PSI. Here are all my study questions that my mentor helped me with to prepare for state board. But let me go over the NIC outline for the different sections real quick so you all will know the videos that I set up. So real quick, we did, hold on. Blood exposure, did I get it right? Okay, here it is. So the first video is work area and client preparation. We talked about that. I talked about the hair cutting, and it's called What's in the Black Bag? Work area and new client preparation, setup and of tools and supplies. I talked about the tools. Shaving with a straight razor. We went over the first 5 steps. I hate that I can't find that video. And then blood exposure procedure. We had to demonstrate that. Chemical wave. I talked about what was needed in that section and my exposure to it. And then the predisposition test and strand test with simulated products. There's a video in there on that. It's actually the 7th one. And then 8 was chemical relaxer and virgin application. And then 9 was hair color and retouch application. So I did all of those to include me talking about the practical exam, and then me talking about studying for the theory exam, which this was my notebook to prepare me for that. You'll see it in that video. That's all I have. That's all I got. Like I said, until next time, stay sharp, stay focused, and honor your craft. We're out. See ya next Sunday on Female Barber Talk with Yah-Tay at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you all for joining. I appreciate you. Take care.
Naturals.